Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I've been collaborating with Scott on a fascinating project, and this is our second video in the series describing the results. If you missed the first video, there's a link to it in the comments, and I hope somewhere on the screen. And what we covered last time briefly was Scott's interest in high-speed aerial photography. He captured many interesting videos of unidentified objects, which we can appropriately call UAPs, unidentifiable aerial phenomena, orbs, cigars, and simultaneous high-speed objects captured moving together. One object flew up close to his camera, and he was so curious about it, he asked a well-known remote viewer, David Powell, to assign somebody to remote view this thing. And that ended up being me. Scott lives 3,000 miles away, he in California and I in New Jersey. My blind remote viewing work said these things were flying around his county. They were conscious and luminous, and I also picked up perceptions about an ongoing project and traveling to different locations. An activity gathering some sort of data very accurately. My remote viewing also mentioned the name of the person that inspired Scott to begin his practice, Courtney Brown. Now let's continue from that point. After I presented my remote viewing session, I got further interested in Scott's project. As a retired software engineer, I saw an opportunity. I developed a program to track these objects from his videos and draw red boxes around them. They were moving so fast we could hardly see them, even when we slowed the frame rate way down. Scott graciously provided additional videos so I could test my tracker. And you can see some of those on the screen now. Frankly, I was curious about these things. I wanted to study them, especially since my remote viewing said they had consciousness. I wanted to channel these things in real time during one of his sky shoots. I had been practicing semi-trance channeling since 1998, so that's 28 years now. And that experiment, coupled with Scott's photography and data, is what we will be discussing today. Scott called me by cell phone from California while he was doing one of his sky video shoots. And from that moment, for the next 5 minutes, I tried to channel those objects as if they had consciousness, just like my remote viewing said they did. Semi-trance channeling, like I do, is interactive. You have conversations with these conscious intellects, and I recorded their words. Then I wrote another software program to display the second timings for each sentence. In the meantime, Scott compiled his data. How's that for a quick summary there, Scott?
That is exceptional, Don. I'm very impressive. I'm sorry. Really good job.
Okay, so Scott, why don't you show us some of the data that you've got?
Don, the data was pretty impressive. I would definitely classify myself as a skeptic, but the numbers here scream that there's something. What it is, I don't know. Well, we focused in on 3 dates in addition to a number of other, what I would call debunking film sessions. I'm going to talk about the 3 dates first, and I have a slide from a PowerPoint we can put up on the screen. Here are the results we had when we focused in on stimulating the environment in an attempt to channel these objects. And this was from my backyard. So on 7/24, we did 5 minutes where we blasted electromechanical environmental stimulation into the atmosphere. We connected on the phone, we disconnected, and then you channeled. And that was 5 minutes total. We had 80 to 100 objects that showed on film.
Wow.
That's what I captured on film. That's pretty impressive.
Okay.
I've never, ever, and I've done hundreds of filming sessions.
And now what is that? How does that compare to your other sorts of shoots?
I would say on average, if I go and film 10 minutes, I'll catch 3 to 5 objects.
No way.
Yeah, from my backyard. Yeah, 10 minutes, I'll typically catch 3 to 5 orbs or strange light streaks, things like that. It's just off the charts. These numbers are off the charts, comparatively speaking. And then 2 days later, what I did is just put the camera out in the backyard, pointed at the same angle, ran the camera for 5 minutes, and nothing showed up.
And I wasn't involved in that one.
You were not involved. I wasn't even involved. I didn't stand with my camera. I went in the house. I just put the camera out in the backyard, ran it for 5 minutes, and there were no objects on there.
Got it.
And then on 8/1, did another 5-minute session. This involved you and I, where you channeled only. And we had a phone connection before the channel started. We broke the phone connection. You channeled, and 10 to 12 objects showed up.
Okay.
Which is still significantly more than the average, which is my next bullet. Pretty much the entire month of August, I filmed, not only for our experiment, but for my own hobby, for my own enjoyment. But I did multiple 5-minute filming sessions using the same electromechanical stimulation that was involved in our experiment, which was playing the 192 hertz sound in the environment, blasting 192 hertz radio frequency in the environment, and then the crop circle recording CE5. It has a number of different names, but it's the alleged sounds that were recorded while crop circle was being made in the 90s. So I did that, the same combination, multiple times for 5 minutes, and I was able to come up with some averages. And so 15 total filming sessions at 5 minutes, the average was 1.2 objects.
Wow.
So if you look at the average compared to what we got on 724, it helps support there's something there.
There's a correlation between the channeling and the number of objects in terms of the total number that appeared. Wow.
Yeah. Even today, when I'm reviewing this data, I've done probably 60 or 70 sessions since August. Nothing's even come close to those numbers. And I've tried a lot of different things.
Wow, this is really amazing. I mean, for me, it's unbelievable.
Well, frankly, that's one of the theories, Don, that as far as consciousness goes. And what was important to me, I wanted to ground truth this to a degree, this consciousness concept and how we can connect with it. I feel like you are absolutely able to connect with it in a way that I probably cannot, at least yet.
Okay.
Through your channeling, whatever strategies you use, I feel like we saw some results.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Don, the numbers were so impressive. It actually created some more questions for me, but really directed at you. So that I could maybe gain some more insight for myself. So tell me about what inspired you to take on this project, both the remote viewing and the follow-up experiments that we conducted.
David Powell and I have a great deal of mutual respect for each other's remote viewing abilities. When he contacted me, I accepted the remote viewing assignment without further consideration. Honestly, that was an honor, really. And as for the channeling part, I consider this just another one of my channeling experiments. I wanted to see what might happen. I've been channeling a long time, and I was curious if there might be any real-world correlations.
What kind of methods or strategies do you use to validate that these are strange?
Remote viewing is always done completely blind, meaning you have no idea what you're perceiving. I didn't try to think about nor validate what my remote viewing was saying. I also didn't think my data was any stranger than anything else I've remote viewed. To do so would have involved my imagination. So the data I provided you was therefore interference clean. It was whatever it was.
What's your interpretation of these objects? You spoke a lot about consciousness, which got me very curious. Tell me about how you see these things.
That's an interesting question. So now that I've seen your videos and also what my remote viewing said, I believe these objects are not only conscious, but some form of manufactured body, like an energy bubble, something that has dimensionality in this physical dimension, something that mental energy or incorporeal conscious intellects can use to move around and navigate through this world. One of my remote viewing perceptions said there was sightseeing involved. All of this probably sounds pretty strange, but that's how I think my remote viewing hooks up with your UAP photography.
Wow. I like your interpretation because it matches what I see when I'm reviewing the film. There seems to be intellect behind the behavior. It seems
Especially
planned.
when there's multiple things traveling together, and you've
Yeah.
you've captured videos like that. Yeah.
Yeah. What sort of feelings or sensations do you get when you channel? And I ask this question because many people with stronger psychic abilities talk about the intuition or the feeling it comes from in here rather than up here.
Hmm.
So, what is it like for you?
Okay, so I do semi-trance channeling, which means I perceive words in the background of my mind, and when I hear them, I speak them out loud. When I speak them, I hear them with my conscious mind, and that allows me to have an interaction with them, a conversation with them that can go back and forth. This back and forth channeled conversation is what I captured in my voice recording and what I sent you. They seemed pretty friendly, even playful.
Agreed. And we're going to show some data that just supports what you're saying right now. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty
It's
incredible.
really interesting, I have to say. Yeah.
Don, one of the things that I keep hearing and seems there could be some truth to it is the everything, everywhere, all at once concept. Explain a little more about your channeling and how that is able to hook up with my photography in real time, like our experiments.
Okay, so despite my years of practice, I still find it fascinating that I can speak a name and the intellect associated with that name will start responding in my mind. There appears to be some sort of resonation or frequency matching involved in this. Speaking a name, or in your case, I wanted to contact the aerial activity around your camera, allowed having a back and forth conversation with them. I'm not sure how that works, but again, from my point of view, this was just another channeling experiment.
I'd love to say I gained some new knowledge as a result of these experiments, but for me, they raised a lot more questions, and I'm still exploring some of those questions. But tell me about any new knowledge or insights that you gained as a result of what we did.
My semi-trance channeling experiences have always been experimental. When I started in 1998, nobody was talking about spirit channeling, at least not where I worked. And the whole idea seemed to be focused around talking to ghosts. That was the idea. What I learned over the years is I'm not contacting ghosts. I am contacting mental energies that exist in some sort of universal mental dimension. I believe all conscious intellects inhabit this dimension. And with the right skills, you can communicate with them clearly. Now, what this project did for me was partially validate my channeling is real. The fact that these objects seemed to respond to my mental invitation was like authenticating my practice in a way. I was blown away when you told me during the channeling experiment there was a huge increase in the number of orbs detected in that 5-minute interval. I consider that a very significant data point.
I agree. So, Don, the information that I'm going to present here is directly connected to the channeling transcript you gave me, which had timestamps on it. We were able to timestamp your statement or your conversation, and I was able to match some of the pictures up to those timestamps.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Yeah.
So here's some really great evidence, Don. I had the camera running for 3 minutes and 5 seconds before we even connected on phone to do this last experiment. We connected on the phone and we spoke for about 3 minutes. And during that time, before you even started channeling, we had 4 to 6 objects show up. We had one show up at 1 minute and 10 seconds into our phone call, and the second orb showed up at 1 minute and 15 seconds into our phone call.
Okay. And that was before the channeling part.
Correct.
Okay.
Now So this particular session, we had planned for only you to channel. I wasn't going to put any radio frequencies, etc. But we're still on the phone. So I like this image because it actually has an orb and an insect. And you can see that it's hard to distinguish. And the way I'm able to distinguish many of these objects is if you continue watching on camera, oftentimes you'll see the blackness of the insect or you'll see the wings flapping, whereas the orbs don't have that same distinct behavior as you've
that's
seen
a very important distinction. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Usually bees. Bees are the most common thing that could potentially be confused with the orb. 3-minute phone call with Dawn. We're still into the phone call. 1 minute and 20 seconds. There's the bee and the orb. The orb was on screen 120th of a second. That's how fast it was. One frame. Whereas that bee continues to be on the camera. The orb flashes in and flashes out really quick, which is very common. But this is one of the faster moving ones that I've seen.
Wow.
Now you're channeling. And here's a great orb, right? 1 minute and 7 seconds into your channeling session, as per the timestamp transcript you gave me. That's a nice size orb.
Yes.
That camera is pointed straight up in the sky. So this thing is above me. That is the edge of my roof line there. The camera's pointed at 90 degrees.
Okay, right. So you're using the roof edge as a kind of like a focusing target, I suppose.
Correct.
So, okay.
Yeah, it helps give some perspective, some dimensionality to these.
Good idea.
Again,
yeah.
You're channeling. We have 2 orbs. These are 2 different orbs. Showed up 2 minutes and 4 seconds into the channel. 2 minutes, 21 seconds. There's another one.
Another one.
This is an amazing sequence here. 3 minutes, 20 seconds, 3 orbs on camera. Pretty incredible to get 3 all in one shot.
Do these things move off frame like?
Oh, yeah. Incredible speeds. I mean, when I'm reviewing the film footage, I play it back at 50%. And even when I'm sitting there watching my computer screen, and it's a 120 megahertz computer screen, so it's a high quality computer screen, I will just see a quick flash in front of my eyes. I have to stop the video, rewind it, and play it frame by frame to then, capture the object like this photograph that you see here. I just grab the photo from the video reel, if you will. I grab a frame.
Right.
Here's another great orb. If we could zoom in on this one, you could just see how perfect it is. It's just a perfectly shaped, round, luminous, beautiful object. 5 minutes, 15 seconds. Look at that one. Look at how that one's more dense. The density of the density of these berries as well.
This is amazing, really.
These snippets below, they happen after the 5-minute mark. But I had forgotten to call Dawn at the 5-minute mark, and you may have channeled past 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was possible, sure.
Yeah, the last objects crossed the screen at 5:25, 5:45, and 6 minutes in the Dawn's channel. So the objects still were coming even, and I don't know if you were done or not, right? Because I think we had some confusion on that day.
That's right.
You were waiting for me to call, and I was waiting for you to call.
Yeah.
So I think you actually kept channeling, and more objects, they kept showing up.
Very nicely done there, Scott, getting that all organized like that. Beautiful.
Yeah, it looks even more. I haven't looked at that pretty much since the day I put it together. That's pretty impressive. I forgot about the density, so I'm glad I mentioned that. Some of them are, I don't know how to describe it. They're beautiful. They're just beautiful looking objects. It's like a piece of art.
So fascinating. Yeah, I almost feel like it's appropriate because the beings that I'm channeling seem to be confident. I don't know whether confidence has anything to do with their appearance, but I'm just saying that because that's the...
Yeah. It looks like to me like an artistic performance, almost like you're going to the theater. I'm not a big theater guy or anything. So for me to even say that is... it's emotion. It draws up emotion when you're seeing these on camera because you're looking at something special. You just don't know what it is.
and there was one phrase in the channeling dialogue where they told me something like, we should probably charge admission for people to see this. I mean, they're telling me this.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that part. They should, because it's entertaining.
Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so let's take a stab at trying to summarize the results. High-speed sky photography is regularly capturing fast aerial objects, also known as UAPs. Remote viewing detected them traveling, conscious and friendly. Through our limited testing at 120 frames a second, we had 2 cases each 5 minutes long. That's 36,000 frames each. The number of orbs increased during my mental channel communication. So there appears to be a correlation between attempted mental contact and their appearance on camera. Fascinating. Well, Scott, this has been really fascinating, and I've really enjoyed myself being involved in the remote viewing and the channeling aspects of this thing, and then seeing the results of my programming efforts, also your results as displayed here today. Thank you.
Thanks. I've enjoyed this. I continue to enjoy this friendship we've developed over these things, and putting these things together and sharing them with other people.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. That's it for today. Goodbye for now.